Within your say bonsu, my minna production team no as a papa for a yeoman's job. In the Dominic Kisi Yeboa, Nana Chum Berema Jackson or say in Tiamoa, Eric Opari DJ and a Queen Star in Japan. And you're not a boy, I'm a Ekosiisen Ebrem. We do this every weekday from 2 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. It's Ghana's biggest and the most authoritative political, social, current affairs talk show. Affordable housing project, Esoyana saying, Agbeve Herbal Center, or the Mona soap and a Mona cream na abejaso. Amponsa ifa pharmaceuticals, boy, Duraplast, or say where Duraplast goes, water flows, or Bapa Company Limited, and a Leomatrona, a trusted anti-malarial for the family. When him say, and you may quit boy, the sounds of our time into. Yeah, but you made in some memorable voice, Bobo Emamono, sound of our time, and no, into you make boy, and no. We are now at the Mehia Sem segment at Wamoso, and also EcoBank Ghana, Prostate 60, a healthy prostate, a healthy life, and a cocoa dairy free coconut milk. JL Dankwa, Omona the Citrolex mixture and capsules, Abajaso, Fesak Real Estate, Freshman, Fresh Lady, Fresh Cool capsules. We must have boy made me hear some segment no April. And Sunday the one-on-one interview session at Wamoso, and also Consolidated Bank of Ghana, Korean ginseng tea, Federal Blood Builder, Rockstars Roofing, and a HEPA Plus mixture, Emma Apomodane and Pa. Get the discussion segment no every Franco Trading Enterprise, Tabia Herbal, Yara Ghana, Rock Properties, Blue Crest University College, and Irata Motors. Also for the best car batteries and oil, please buy Speedmate batteries and oil from Irata Motors. And then some guapono so yatna sene yatna 6:30 p.m. na dwumadi eba ewieye mamena ya affiliate radio stations ni nyinara ase from Tamale right down to Bibiani Anyaso Bekwai into what Tamale a ABC radio more Salaga Kan FM Oba Sunyane Storm FM Ewo Sunyane a omofa ye dwumadi live into ya na machine so amayen oko Brekuma Grow FM oko Akomadan Ewo Cruise FM ewo ho Oko Japekro Menidaso FM, Oba Wenchi, Yewo Royal FM, and Royal FM wo Wenchi, and I think okay, Ochiame FM, ewo Bibiani Anyaso Bekwai, Bibiani Anyaso Bekwai, and Ochiame FM, ewo Intimation and Somayan. Sounds na Aseda FM, ewo second D Takrade, Aseda FM. Yeah, call back to Wenchi. Apart from Royal FM, you were Ewiase FM and so Wenchi. Fire live stations ne door. So Kumase Oko Ejora ne JFM FIA Oko Asante Achem Agogo Enche Yebenya new partner radio station ewo Adansia FM 98.9 Adansia FM ewo Asante Achem Agogo. It will be here live ewo Honso. Ekosiisen is growing bigger by the day. Many thanks to God, thanks to the production team, and thanks to you for listening to us. Every weekday, 2 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Archibald from Ponce, I want to wish Samuel Brian Boabeng and Mandy a happy 4 years anniversary of marriage. Oh, really? God bless them. Samuel Brian Boabeng. Hey! And good afternoon to you, my brother. And a happy 4th anniversary to you and your dear wife, Mandy Brian Boabeng. And as a Mandy Boabeng. And to you, Samuel Brian Boabeng, good afternoon to you. Have a good one. Inko Joseph says, happy birthday to Madame Gertrude Eyinsa, area manager of SNET in Sunyane. It's from Edward Owusu Baine and his SSA executives. To you, Madame Gertrude Eyinsa, area manager SNET in Sunyane. Happy birthday to you. Maminfa we so in Chemna Yentua. So happy birthday to Grace Afre alias Mel Mame Abena TXT Ghana. May God continue to protect you and may God show his favor on you. It's from your mom and Kofigo. Grace Afre, Bibina from Mel Mame Abena. Happy birthday to you as well. And it's your birthday as well, Mr. Victor Newman, Office of the President, from Fifi Adewu to you, Mr. Victor Newman. Happy birthday to you. Let me do this one finally. Mrs. Efia Enchiwa Bonsu Agosu, SI Kaudo, ICGC Christ Temple. A special happy birthday to you, Mrs. Efia Enchiwa Bonsu Agosu. We finana Ekia Moabuatono Blekoma Central going out to you. Ekosiisen saying, Ma Yanshani and family here some segment no and twa moso. Na ye Mamin Kai will say enne. The Youth Must Know series, a press conference, the National Youth Organizer of the NPP, and 2:30 p.m. Pepe, Yebekwa Kwakofa, sa press conference, no Abremo. Yene former minister in charge of communications, the Honorable Edward Omanebua Mabetsnasi Edin Komo, or one of the spokespersons for health for the NDC. And Yebek Kasa Afa. What is in their manifesto for the health sector? Ibedisa and Komono. But before that, me hear some ebebrem. Unim say meti video be and as I share video be on Joy News. Joy News on Multi TV. Now apparently now the transport minister of the Republic, Honorable Kweku Esiama Nana Ekasa. Maybe say utiebi.
The government make its position clear on it. The government, we are now doing stakeholder consultation on the matter, and whatever position we come out clear, we make it public to the people of this Ghana to know. But as of today, the position of Okada is in what is stated in 21.8.
One of the possible outcomes could be that after the consultation, if the people push for it, this government will buy into the idea.
Possibilities are not what the law says. The possibility is what the people say. So
are you going to review the law?
I am saying that we are doing stakeholder consultation on the matter, and when we are done, we will make it public for everybody to know.
How long should we expect this stakeholder consultation to take?
You see, in coming up with the law, it's not about speed, it's about accuracy.
Okay. Could one of those possible outcomes be the position that John Mahama has taken at the moment that he wants to see it legalized?
You see, you are asking me the position. I'm not being hoodwinked about what President Mahama promises on his campaign tours. What I'm saying that the state of Okada and what this present government is doing about Okada. That is the position that I'm stating.
Is that promise what is igniting this stakeholder consultation on whether
we started this thing in late 2019 when President John Dramani Mahama has not made any promise to the people of this.
So is it possible he stole your idea? Is it possible he probably picked on your idea?
I don't know. I will not be able to.
Do you think that your government is so fired because you don't have an effect on the election?
Anyway, let me tell you. The difference between people going on campaign promise and the people you govern the nation, and we are the party in power. We are governing the nation. So our activities is different from what somebody is promising on his campaign train. So that is.
So are you frightened? Are you frightened by what the ex-president has said? As well, it's going to have an effect on the election?
Let me tell you, we are not frightened by anything. We are supposed to govern this country to the best of our ability. What is in the interest of this country? Let us not compare some of these issues and say that somebody has made a campaign promise, so come and respond to it or react to it. That's what I said that in 2012, when the law was passed to ban the use of, it was not banned, to make it that it was not lawful, it was not legal to be used. President John Dramani Mahama was the president. I beg your pardon. If today he had come up and said that if he voted into power, he would change that position, then maybe, I don't know what he did. But we, as a government, know that this is a matter that we need to take our time, consult the people, come out with the views. Then it will determine the law that we need to put in place. Because laws are made to be changed because they are not static. If we think that at the end of the day we need to amend certain law to take cognizance of the day or of the time, we do so. If we think that we need to implement what is there, it depends on the people that we consult, it depends on what you think that is at stake. We will do it.
And that's the Honorable Transport Minister, Honorable Kwekwesiama Ena Moten and Kano, speaking to journalists there. Now, the Kenyan say, a idea are buying Ashasia Dada, yedi brunifan stakeholder consultations. Inti omone omanfo ne bebre na di nkomo omo a omo dwumabi di efa Okada business no ehon ewo man yim no won di enkomo just to come out with another policy ebehwe na obia koma atoneyem as far as LI 2180 is concerned. Okay, LI na where LI Parliament of Ghana a passman be in 2012 and enuna it prohibited the use of motorcycles or tricycles for commercial purposes. In the Emma Kwama Unfa motorbike, anase pragia, anase aboboya, emfa enye commercial ejuma. In the ejuma, obeye ajisika, se wafo obi atena so na ojini sika. Samre ni mrai wo since 2012. But Minister Chemwa, omashe stakeholder engagement aseda dada. Efa sa emre ye ehon. Question is say, I didn't know obi ante. And as we fresh stakeholders, now you know we kwasha kukuomu baby. Why is it not public? And the very important as stakeholder engagement or more can or more share here. And stakeholder engagement or more ye amanakwa kusi saying say ebe si say ebe yimra we free ho abe illegal and answer at saying. And why are they coming out now? Ninyina yen kome wo se di Oko Transport Ministry agencies bebre wo wona se Ghana Maritime Authority, Ghana Port and Harbours Authority, and ye one National Road Safety Commission. Into your na eba road safety regulations bia ehye wona se ombehwe implement because na yomo commission. Into your police e kabom edi dwuma bebre. Into your stakeholder engagement where we are told say National Road Safety Commissioner a leading engagement no. Why is the public not aware? David Osafo Adontin, Director Planning and Programs our National Road Safety Commission. Ora Adontin akwa be Ekosiisen so ni.
O be mejo so na mo ho te say.
Nyame adom ye ho ye papa na wo so ho te say.
Yes so nyame adom ye gan na so pa.
Ye no kresam ye stakeholder engagement efa LIA meka ho asem kire LI 2180 it prohibited the use of motorbikes, tricycles for commercial purposes. More ye stakeholder engagement wo ho.
Pacho ne bi time no National Road Safety Authority.
Oh, it's now an authority. It is here mutumi ne kra wo soro mo. Good. Eno kra ma nkomo ye de. Enti mo share engagement na se.
Pacho yakate na yeshate 2019. Yeni Ministry of Transport ni di yeni minister honorable FM. Constitute a committee, a working group here, National Road Safety Authority, Yekaho, Yenianum NPPD, Ekaho, Ministry of Transport, Nankasakaho, and a committee, one of assignments, Yadima Yen said, Young Ko, Yamwa Pro, and Kogan, Hambia, in fact, the 10 regions at that time. 10 regions. Not any stakeholder consultation. You know, say,
but me pacho me ba o se mo shase 20 nyabotre o se mo shase 2019.
In fact, the whole of 2019 yeah consultation.
Na entiade no obi anya way because maintain that.
I can say be me nwa pa say a news public news. The be a call na no they engage interest group. They engage all MMBA. Media and we have records to show how we engage the media. In fact, media party, regional call no plano. You're signing on the class, your press center. Engage media. And it's been published.
And by media, no, you mean the Ghana Journalists Association?
Ghana Journalists Association, yes, in particular. Yes, in particular, Ghana Journalists Association. So, it's a public news. Social media, the Bianwa. Now, news, no, what engagement did any publish media.
Enti mo started 2019. As we speak, yeah, 2020 September. He found a more do with our engagement. I can was me.
So, in fact, as at early part of 2020, no, now you compare the data no, and I'm going to information for the guy in the and the report as a draft. Now, you say, Anka, you say you find a second phase of it. Maybe to say, most of the NGOs, no, any civil society organizations, now you see our, but the man in all the others. I say, na Ghana Medical Association, not one so intimate in year. First one, you know, in Komokatra, but not in year. Because now you prepare, we visit all the city hospitals. Now you on the ground, you know, and for poor people as a result of using a motorcycle. Nothing so, there are other institutions be not one so, you know, Parliament, no Parliament for engage here. If you say you do and a COVID, a man who so down. It is COVID media. I believe that by now, as a junior quality, all the input from the relevant institutions and organizations are not very effective. Now, after we put it together, give it to the Ministry of Transport. Now, Ministry of Transport will go, Minister no, the cabinet decision necessity on the direction of decision for us to take as a nation. Because, Minia, this is a sensitive issue. You ain't sensitive issue. And you be here, a command yen now, and a national road safety authority. They are two just say, and your baby and setting you now, you bring a new year. First, what and Shamu Samtua. You know, Kasay, from January to August alone this year. Nipa be 643. I will motorcycle so. But your minka Okada, you think motorcycle so. And your issue previous years 500, 600, 700. And you receive the red flag. That mummy and fear needs a home. Now you're going to train yourself. And for a woman to have to be difficult, and your commercial name, and so on your friend Okada name, or whom you may plug in your mother. And I'm saying, data no, and a totality of national star. And to me, shares are probably a good to a year. And it's something that 1 year they can. Because you see,
no, maybe, but me worry, say, Osha interview, a medical boy, yeah, journalist, and the transport minister, mete Joseph Oboku Gakpo voice, woman, and some other journalist. And it was that interview na yemu be a say or say more stakeholder engagement. And I believe that for such thing no more National Road Safety Authority mona more leady. As we speak, no say Oberani ye throw me who say Mushia GJA. Which other stakeholders now so far? And waka MMDCs Nizumeshia won.
That's right.
Which other stakeholders? Okada for Nankasa no Moshiamo.
If I tell Okada, to be honest with you, who say Mremuno, if you anywhere express Okada, now you meet on the ground, you know, you probably be Ghana Okada, I think Okada Riders Association. Nonetheless, recognize them and I'm more. Some people came and they presented themselves as representatives of Okada Riders Association. But we still give them the opportunity to make input. Apart from that, you know, there were Motor Riders Association, only they almost done Okada. Motor Riders Association. And they also came in. Institutions like the road agency, the police, stakeholders, BBLA, Ghana National Fire Service, and ambulance services. Representatives, the women I discussed this matter. So, and like there were certain road safety advocates. One more day, one more doing a buy. And
we know a idea more region by region, and
region by region.
So far, much me a region be
all the 10 regions. We are left with the 6 new ones. We are left with the 6 new ones. And the understanding you will be a gap. As I saw, be making input. Because many are sending a tap, and for 4 A, begin to say, and they begin a task to have. And when you are putting such policies in place, one year white importation. Now, pray also 1 year waiting. I say, now, I get now, officer, the papa, not a boy or man was a bit. Now, I could be the and Jamaya see a boy. And we take him, Obia Chena, Obia the Nadine back, there is Mrano, there is on the ground. How in reality, what is the problem like? Now, to be honest with you, problem not for linear, problem not so. And we want to do it right. Now,
at the end of the day, stakeholder engagement, we to what end? And then I'm going to achieve.
No, linear. But make sure we say, embrace Mahokwan, the motorcycle, no, the beyond transport empire. In fact, you explained it very well in your introduction. And Timra and Mahokwan to be better national. And your taxi. And what is what you who say we are private. But you call for me to do this a pro bono. So we say, yes, I'm here. Local communities do a while. And one more taxi. And one more ambulance. And one more everything. Come here, without it, no. What's the Nipa Benanti? And you're 10 kilometers to other. And one on the call people, on the school, on the home, on the baby. It's your holiday would do it. Now, as a year, when I wear like 50-50, but because you do it, 100%. So that put to me, and you see a sometimes, it's Mummy and Panya Juma. What about crime? More urban areas, not for your 50-50 issue. A BCMP. So, it's eventually, we are listening to the people. Now, and that will help us and influence policy decisions. A better number say Emrano, he are not technically. A bigger dollar, maybe I don't maintain. And then because I know who the year. But we still need because now Yamanda, if you see it can help you and give you a direction as to what position to take as far as the law is concerned. But what you must say?
Yes.
Very good.
In the ultimately, the end game will be set to maybe amend portions of the law.
Oh, yes, possible. Possible. It is the law that we are looking at now. Because as it is currently, the law is not working. But we want laws to work. In addition, the way people who plano, I mean, here in power, here in Parliament, young men and women, on Sabubu, a bit teacher, Kohini Petrimo Papai, all because of this. And she, Emra, now Emran Yedima, now your mano, a prepare woo of them, this now you bit my year who be, we are, and what we are now. Until we have taken those steps, even if it will take us a year, 2 or 3, but to do it right in a manner that will benefit all of us there. The GD said, "You will who finds it."
Ma yenhwe yemfa nsi e wo se yekokofa press conference bia e koso me final way ne say prove na wo kan of amanfo am engage won ne ade no is it something a wo betimi produce?
There will be a thing, and then you start with Tamale. When you can hear observing some of these things.
Yes.
I'm hoping how infrastructure has been provided here in Tamale motorbike. Here lane. Out of the carriage lane. So we are observing it. And you've been working along, seeing the best way to advise government on this. And you know Tamale. Never China. If they do now Monday, Obi, coming to your office, I can come directly and give you the evidence of the documents, everything.
Okay.
I want to engage you and the content of it all. I can make it available.
Would appreciate that. Yeah, be appreciate it. In 30 seconds, rounds now, Marco, so far, stakeholders are more engaging one. What's the popular view among stakeholders? Are they for the repeal of the law? And now say, what's the popular view?
When you are open rural areas in India, and you public transport more than Takrano, and your woman now are for repeal. So, but over urbanized and suburbanized area now, a Honda division work as a kind of a 50-50 process. But me now, it is after we finish and finally the clear direction where we should go. But at the moment, we have quite a number of people saying, "Oh, we finish." Then you feel, "No, you legalize it." So this don't let us legalize. It will create some chaotic situation for us because we don't have the capacity to enforce whatever laws we bring. And see, we are monitoring and we are collecting and we will analyze it scientifically. In fact, here find emotions. Yet the scientific approach that is done everywhere as a best practice to come out with something that will bind all of us as a nation.
Ora don't me yemfa nsi ye behwe wanim nyame ya adoma Monday. Why? Yeah, that's it. Ekosiisen so high asempa 94.7 FM. Where David Adontin, the director in charge of planning and programs for the National Road Safety Authority, and Motesianenu AD and Como Ekosiisen so high asempa. Enti yebeko Alisa Hotel. The youth wing of the NPP. A press conference. It's the 7th edition of the Youth Must Know series, addressed by the party's national youth organizer, Henry Nana Boachi, Bebrefend Nana B. Young Comra Yaba, Yedi Ohono Ertuamoso. Ekosiisen, so stay with us.
Order. Let me introduce the national youth organizer of the ruling New Patriotic Party, Joseph Nganganeba Payaja. Other deputy
Asempa FM. Asempa FM.
Papa driver, man in the heya, me pesemiti asempa FM. Taxi driver, man in the heya, me pesemiti asempa FM. Filling station, man in the heya, me pesemiti asempa FM. Pop spot, man in the heya, me pesemiti asempa FM. Quaristers moson for kwa master prayer honey honey na mutie asempa 94.7 FM. They say yeka prayer na wajiso ewu bie fie.
Have culminated in him having attained this great position. We all wish him well. Sakawa boys. Very unfortunate, very pathetic.
Asempa FM.
As a rationale for Ghanaians to vote for him. Very irresponsible comment as well. Every Ghanaian should be concerned about the former president who engages in tribal bigotry, ethnocentrism, and divisive politics. To elevate our political discourse, we the youth would like to use this occasion to highlight the tremendous achievement of the Nanado Dankwa Akufo-Addo, that is 3.5 years in government, as compared to the NDC's 8 years. Then we'll also explore the manifestos of the MPP and that of the NDC, which is full of plagiarized ideas. Ladies and gentlemen, in our 5th edition of the Youth Must Know series in Kumasi, we listed about 60 youth-centered beneficial achievements of the MPP. It was in the same press engagement in which we challenged our brothers in opposition. We did so because the former president, he has had the opportunity to be president before. He's had the opportunity to be vice president before. He should tell us what he did for the youth. Bereft of ideas as always, they have shown that they did nothing for the youth and hence have not been able to accept this noble challenge. Since the Akufo-Addo government has performed exceptionally in this area, let us look ahead at the life-changing youth-related policies captured in the MPP's 2020 manifesto. A few of these achievements so far chalked by the government. Ladies and gentlemen, the MPP has created over 2 million jobs in the area, and I recall that when NDC they were launching a manifesto, I've seen the theme, they are saying that jobs and prosperity for all, and I laughed. Indeed, we have created 2,055,010. The public sector alone is 778,706. Formal sector, 267,939. Government job creation programs, 1,008,365. In all, we have 2,055,010. And then when you look at the government programs through which jobs were created, planting for food and jobs alone, 762,300. Nation builded score, 100,000.
Ekosiisen on Asempa
National
FM.
Entrepreneurship and Innovation Plan, 92,000. Youth Employment Agency, 142,000. National Identification Authority, 35,380. And then we have the Outgrowers Value Chain Fund. We have 7,254, and then the Ghana Commercial Agriculture Project to 11,431. Ladies and gentlemen, let's move to education. The universally acclaimed free SHS and TVET education also have seen 1.2 million beneficiaries. The government has absorbed registration fees for children sitting the Basic Education Certificate Examination, that is BCE, from public and private junior high schools. The difference this makes to both parent and the award cannot be overemphasized. In addition, the government has also paid 75 million as examination fees for 313,838 students sitting in the West African Senior Secondary Certificate Examination, WASI. The government has been supplying free learning materials to boost the free SHS initiative. Apart from the core textbooks, no textbooks, exercise books, supplementary readers, technical drawing equipment, students are also given physical education kits, uniform, house clothes, and house dresses for free since 2017. unrivaled infrastructure project in the SHS and the basic schools, 1,002 infrastructure projects in the SHS, and then 557 at the basic level. The development also encompasses libraries, the construction of 2 libraries and renovation of 10 existing libraries, including the Accra Central, Asokore and Hohoi libraries, the construction and establishment of 10 training centers of excellence for the Council of Technical Vocational Education and Training, COTVET. Restoration of teacher training allowance to 48,000 trainees, which cost 357 million in 2020 fiscal year alone. Restoration of nursing training allowance to 49,000 to nursing training alone in the 2020 fiscal year. Ladies and gentlemen, the youth scholarship for over 30,000 brilliant but needy students via the district level scholarship scheme in the 2019 alone. Again, this year it is projected that 60,000 students will also benefit. There are other achievements that at this time will not permit us to enumerate all. But then let us turn attention to the tale of the 2 manifestos. Fellow youth, the MPP manifesto launched under the theme Leadership of Service, Protecting Our Progress, Transforming Ghana for All, has at its core myriad of impactful youth-oriented policies. The youth-friendly manifesto has inherent policies that will accelerate job creation, poverty reduction, promote social mobility, and shared prosperity. The establishment of the 2 billion
Ekosiisen
guarantee
on
facility
Asempa FM.
to support all large enterprises for job creation. This will enable businesses to borrow from the banks at affordable rates and over long tenors to adjust to the pandemic and to retain jobs. Setting up of the 100 million fund for labor and faith-based organization for retraining and skill development. Establishment of the unemployment insurance scheme to provide temporary income support for workers who are laid off due to the pandemic. Promoting food security and job creation by intensifying support to the planting for food and jobs and rearing for food and jobs programs. Implementing the range of employment retention and support service to large enterprises, including clearing contractors' arrears, quick payment of new contractors, and increasing government procurement for local businesses. Reviewing and optimizing the implementation of government flagship policies, such as the planting for food and jobs,
Ekosiisen
one
on
district, one
Asempa
factory,
FM.
3 SHS that depend on government budget finance for greater results, value for money, and fiscal sustainability. Building Ghana's light manufacturing sector, including our capability to manufacture machinery to support our industrialization bid. Finalizing the establishment of the bauxite refinery. You recall that, but for the timely intervention of the MPP government, our bauxite deposit would have been given to former President Mohammed's brother. And then the government intervened and then Supreme Court reversed this illegal transaction. We will also deepen the automotive assembly industry, which will also help create jobs for the youth. Complete the process of establishing a fertilizer processing plant in Ghana and implementation of the greenhouse village concept, focusing especially on the youth. Continue to increase the manpower resource and teaching facility, including the use of ICT, teaching aids of public tertiary institutions to support the expected increases in student population from the free SHS graduates. Guarantor-free access to student loan and deferred payment of the loan after national service plus additional 1-year grace period. Complete the provision of free Wi-Fi to all secondary schools and public tertiary institutions and training colleges. Construction of 101 standard design 100-bed hospitals with accommodation for doctors and nurses in the districts without hospitals. Construction of 6 new regional hospitals in the 6 new regions and Ghana Center for Disease Control. Rehabilitation of the Ifyakwanta Hospital in the Western region into a virtually new facility. MPP government will establish the National Rental Assistance Scheme with a seed capital of 100 million. This is a great news for the Ghanaian youth.
Ekosiisen on
Given that
Asempa
our artists do not have the capital to set up their own studios, we will, as part of the entrepreneurial hub strategy, establish in partnership with the private sector large recording studios in Accra, Kumasi, and Tamale and Takrade. Recording artists can rent space for their recording in these studios. We will build a digital platform for artists to make their product available to the global market. Build a fully functional, multi-purpose youth and sports centers of excellence in each of the 6 newly created regions. Already we have 10 existing ones. You go to Upper West, it's in Wa. You go to Upper East, Navrongo, Northern region, Yendi. You go to the Den Bono Hafu, it's in Doma. You go to Ashanti region, we have it in Yinahini. You go to Eastern region, Koforidia, Vota region is in Ho. And then you go to Western region, Axim, Central region, Dunkwa, Onofen. So we have constructed 10 new ultramodern multi-purpose youth centers with FIFA standard pitch, 5,000 capacity. And what we are saying is that we will build 6 for the newly created regions as well. Under the Zongo Development Fund, we will introduce the Zongo Youth Football Talent Hunt. I can see my brother Aziz Futa here. He is very happy with this initiative. MPP has seen the successful implementation of the Zongo Development Fund, and we are also going to bring on board the Zongo Youth Talent Hunt program, a special program for the youth in Zongos, which will help unearth, develop, and promote football talent in Zongo communities through competitions and football clinics in collaboration with the local and international partners. Ladies and gentlemen, the National Democratic Congress also launched their manifesto a few days ago. After engaging with scores of young Ghanaians across the country, our verdict is that the NDC 2020 manifesto is simply a document full of unrealistic, populist, and discredited promises disguised as People's Manifesto, when in fact it is not. The vast majority are either stolen ideas, repetition of existing or ongoing projects by the MPP, deceptive and unreliable policies, and recycled of failed promises from their 2012 manifesto. And for instance, the promise to pay assemblymen, if you go into their 2012 manifesto, you see it from page 93 to 94. Now, imagine the same promise in the 2020 manifesto on page 113. The same promise in the 2012 manifesto, recycled and repackaged into the 2020 manifesto. Former President Mahama cannot be trusted. We have painstakingly perused both the 2012, 2016, 2020 manifestos of the NDC vis-a-vis actual performance of the incompetent Mahama administration, and wish to expose this unbridled lies and deception therein. Ladies and gentlemen, to start with, the theme of the NDC 2020 manifesto, jobs, prosperity, and more. People's Manifesto.
Ekosiisen on
This is
Asempa
a
FM.
contradiction of the very nature, form, and substance of the NDC, both in government and in opposition. They have never governed with the interest of the people at heart. Neither have they crafted any policy to create jobs or prosperity. This is evident in the many anti-people-centered policies they implemented when in government and in their fierce resistance for pro-poor policies of the MPP. Mr. Mahama and the NDC are notoriously known for putting their parochial interests and selfish gains ahead of the very needs of the people, including jobs. It is important to remind ourselves that the supposed people-centered party led by Mr. Mahama so pretended over the most insensitive government that visited untold hardship and excruciating pain on the people of Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, when workers at the time of the NDC were living in abject poverty and were asking for better condition of service through negotiations, strikes, and demonstration, Mr. John Mahama said, "I have seen more demonstration and strikes in my first 2 years. I don't think it can get worse. I have developed a dead goat syndrome." Is this a people-centered person who is interested in shared prosperity? Absolutely no. At this time, when Dumso was collapsing, at the time of former President Mahama, when Dumso was collapsing businesses, causing massive job losses, and destroying the livelihood of Ghanaians, Mr. Mahama said to the people, "Pay more if you want stable electricity." Sadly, he increased electricity tariffs between 2013 to 2016 by over 200%, yet failed to give people stable power. Is this people-centered person who is interested in creating jobs and prosperity for the youth? Absolutely no. The supposed people-centered Mahama refused to support and cushion Ghanaians whose businesses collapsed and those who lost their jobs as a result of the 5 years of Dumso, born out of incompetence, mismanagement, and the corruption of his administration. He simply didn't care about the plight of Ghanaians. Can we trust such a person to create jobs and prosperity for the youth? I remember at that time, Mr. Mahama said, when the industry players were complaining, he said, smart businesses are making money. So it means if you were not smart, it means your business will collapse. That is the legacy of Mr. Mahama. At a time when parents whose wards were in the nursing and teacher training colleges were facing extreme difficulties in meeting financial demands associated with the education of their wards as a result of bad economic conditions, the supposed people-centered Mahama cancelled the teacher training allowance, stating arrogantly that we will rather lose the elections than restore teacher training allowance. Is this people-centered person?
Ekosiisen on Asempa FM.
There is no doubt that Mr. Mahama and the NDC cannot be trusted with the destiny of the youth. Ladies and gentlemen, let's turn our attention to the economy. The economy is the most important aspect of governance. The economy is everything, and everything is the economy. If you cannot manage the economy, then you cannot manage the country, let alone create jobs, reduce poverty, enhance social mobility, and prosperity. On page 21 of the NDC manifesto, they promise to fix economy by lowering inflation, growing GDP, contain containing the deficit of public debt. You will recall that in 2013, when President Mahama was sworn in, first State of the Nation address, he told Ghanaians that our resources have been stripped to the bone. Who superintended over that exercise? Mr. Mahama. A year after, we were told that we lack policy credibility in the area of economic management. Who again was the president then? Mr. Mahama. And shortly afterwards,
Ekosiisen on Asempa
we
FM.
went to HIPIC. We went to IMF. And you recall that the NDC also took us to HIPIC. Former President Kufuor brought us out. And it took John Mahama to again take us back to IMF. On page 21 of the NDC's manifesto, ladies and gentlemen, in the history of the Fourth Republic, the NDC remains the only party with the worst economic performance. And Mr. Mahama is the only president to have inherited a robust economy but left it in comatose, with all the economic indicators pointing to the wrong direction as shown below. Mr. Mahama and the NDC took over an economy that was growing at 9.1% in 2009, but by 2016, they shrank it to 3.4%. Inflation under the incompetent government of Mr. Mahama was 15.4%. MPP dropped it steadily to 7.9% at the end of December 2019, about the lowest recorded since 1992. On page 21 of the NDC's manifesto, the NDC promised to promote and protect indigenous Ghanaian businesses and promote local economic development. Why then did they sit unconcerned as Dumso crisis ravaged Ghana's industrial landscape? Why did they not protect the over 850 Ghanaian companies that collapsed to save thousands of jobs that went down the drain? This is the legacy of John Mahama. So when he says that we are going to promote and protect indigenous companies, you should know the credibility with which he speaks. This statement on the economy comes from a party that missed all economic promises and targets contained in the 2012 manifesto. After such a terrible showing, it would be suicidal to trust any economic promise from the NDC. The promising spree, contradictions, and the U-turn of Mr. John Mahama and the NDC signal only one thing. Their singular aim is to say and do whatever it takes, including what the devil may himself frown upon, to capture political power. But fellow youth, again, the NDC says they will create 1 million jobs in 4 years. What did they do in 8 years? Can we go and check their record? If indeed NDC can create 1 million jobs, it means they created 2 million jobs in 8 years. Since the answer to the above rhetorical question is a big fat no, we can aptly say that John Mahama and the NDC are back just to say anything to win political power. Still holding on to the idea that Ghanaians have short memory, Mr. Mahama is now promising to maintain the nursing and teacher trainee allowance. And ladies and gentlemen, I have something here I want to show you. Interestingly, in Akan we say Techremawe and Yadei and Pro. I remember when students were crying.
Ekosiisen
and you
on
have, first of all, let me start with Mr. Shedun Ketia. He says, no sense in paying teacher training allowance, Mr. Mosquito. Then again, you go to Graphic Online, and then that is September 9th, 2016. Teacher training allowance will not be restored even if it will cost me the elections. And then, 8th June 2020, he says, I will maintain allowance for teacher trainee nurses if I win 2020 polls. Can this man be trusted? The answer is no. Again, Mr. Mahama is saying that the NDC will NDC promised to absorb 50% of tertiary students for 2020-2021 academic year for someone who vehemently opposed free SHS and even claimed that it was impossible to implement because he was bereft of innovative ideas. What can he do for tertiary education? And let me also share
Ekosiisen on Asempa FM.
Mind-boggling. It is important. Now, it appears when you consider this promise, now for the public universities, let's even take University of Ghana, KNUST, University of Cape Coast, University of Education, Winneba, University of Development Studies, University, that is George Grant, University of Mines and Technology, University of Energy and Natural Resources, University of Health and Allied Sciences, and University of Professional Studies. Let us work with these figures alone. Now, if you consider full-time students enrollment in the public universities, 2019-2020 alone, we are talking about 213,315. If you multiply that by the average fees, it means we are talking about 319,972,500. Okay. Then when you come to the distant education student enrollment in the public universities, we are talking about 87,168 students. The average fees is 3,000.
Ekosiisen on Asempa FM.
So we are talking about 261,558. Now, when you go to the sandwich education, that is the public universities, the total number of students as at 2019-2020 academic year, 16,540 students. Then the average fees, 1,600. You do the calculation, we are talking about 26,462,000. Then you come to the technical universities. We have 56,610 students. The average fees, we are talking about 1,300 Ghana cedis. Then you do the calculation, it's 73,593,000. Then you do full-time private universities. Their numbers, 59,709 students. The average school fees is 202,500 Ghana cedis. You do the calculation, 149,272,000. Now, all of it will come up to 830,860,000.
Ekosiisen on Asempa FM.
415,430,000. Ladies and gentlemen, a man who could not even pay teacher trainee allowance, a man who could not even pay nursing trainee allowance, a man who cancelled utility bills. Before, when I was in Kenya University for my second degree reading law, we were not paying for utilities. Former President Mahama in 2011-2012 instructed all vice chancellors to charge utility bills. So for a man who could not absorb even utility bills, capitation grant, a man who could not even pay 37 million for his so-called progressively free SHS. Are you going to trust the same man to cough out 415 million to pay that? No. His credibility is zero. Ladies and gentlemen, must we remind Ghanaians about the sordid reality of Dumso, the plethora of collapsed businesses, and its concomitant high employment, how can such a
Ekosiisen on
person
Asempa
who
FM.
could not stabilize the power supply for 8 years to do in 4 years? Again, ladies and gentlemen, we are being told that they are going to scrap double track. Have you heard that as well? Yes. Okay. Now, interestingly, they are saying that they even want to improve and also make free SHS better. Okay. In 2018, when former President Mahama was campaigning to be their flag bearer again, NDC's flag bearer, UCC campus, where he engaged some students, he said for a government to spend 2 billion a year on free SHS is unthinkable. He said, and the video is there. And now I've seen the video gone viral, and it's important for us to remind Ghanaians that for such a man to say that, and this is just 2018, saying that for government to invest 2 billion a year on free SHS alone is unthinkable, it's not wise, it's not sensible. How can such a man be trusted to expand free SHS to private universities, or to private senior high schools, sorry?
Ekosiisen on Asempa FM.
Secretary of the Mount Tuma, you have certainly not forgotten about the mess Mahama and his NDC did to the economy and our subsequent punishment by sending Ghana to IMF. A painful laugh to such an incompetent person claiming to have a magic wand for fixing the economy. Those who would not implement the one-term premium are now promising free health care. Sometimes it appears some of these promises, they are meant to insult our intelligence. First of all, you imposed the implementation of free SHS. You imposed the implementation of free SHS. And the minority then in parliament walked out. And then they promised one-term premium, you remember? They could not deliver. And then they mismanaged NHIS. At the time, NHIS was indebted to about 1.3 billion.
Ekosiisen on Asempa FM.
At that time, you have the missionary hospitals going on strike. And then you have pharmaceuticals. The providers also saying that they will not provide their services. They stopped these services. And this same man is now saying that they are going to provide free primary health care. Ladies and gentlemen, the renowned corrupt Mahama says he will fight corruption with Operation Stinct. Hey. You recall in an interview where Mr. Mahama was asked, have you taken a bribe before? And then he said, as a president or as a human being? Abba. We have suffered, oh. We have suffered. Have you all forgotten government official one? So for such a man who superintended over wanton dissipation of our resources to turn around and say that I want to fight corruption, ladies and gentlemen, I want to leave you with this. Nana do Dankwa Akufo-Addo's sterling performance in 3 years.
Ekosiisen on Asempa FM.
That you give us another 4 more years to continue on with the good work that we have started. All the promises that we made, 1 district, 1 factory is in place. 1 village, 1 dam is in place. Zongo Development Fund is in place. Establishment of Middle Belt Development Authority, Coastal Northern is in place. Almighty Free SHS is in place. NAPCO is in place. Ladies and gentlemen, we have performed far better, and we say that 1 good term deserves another. 4 more to do more for you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Abusiafo,
Asempa FM.
And now your friend and Central for Enshamudia. Yasam Ayetiawa. Near Dikan Yababo or Mampeni
Ekosiisen on Asempa FM.
John Draman Mahama, Yababo Nitriso. San says, I wish him command and saying, what didn't number from memoir any A9. Na Sabia Yado, Sabia Cronto airtime so. Sir, Utimi a far in the Peku Ghana for Yenano and ne Yaya Bako. Now Utimi Kase, a Kobi, a Chim Mafia, a Chim Sakawa boys. And that's another Danko Kufa, His Excellency. And the can't be sa. And can ne Yanum Ometico Apai. Tinia yesterday, Yanasa, Mr. Emabunu. Ni epe eye kasa emuda ho ni epe eye kasa emu hwam enyama we sei ene bema elections no obewini Ghana mabunu ye pe kasapa ebiem na no nso kra de asem okan ni se wo hwe abode nhihye mu a omo fie wa akire no omu tawu ejan omo fie ewa animu enti se wo hwe mu de a na dan kwa kufa do be dai obefiri mu agya no. Can you imagine? Ade. O assembly aka enuntino na enyini
Ekosiisen on Asempa FM.
Bibiani a ono betimi afrim agya wonti yento abama sanse ona ya brante. Can you imagine this? I think say any airtime. Abusiafo ene centralfo nhyiamu yi ne ye kan ne say Nanado Danko Akufuado 3.5 years yi. Wo hwa niam a waya man mabunu yan manifesto anano yakopa hontuma ewo eye central region ye frɛ no emabunu manifesto na nano kumase yakacha NDC for say omombeka ade a former president Mahama ayama mabunu omantimi anka ye ma omu niam 60 sen komo be chechemu omo so nka bi san say former president Mahama wayo mampani pen abusia enipa ayama no saa kwanya no bi no o si ebusa ebra ye de saa 2 minimum no day no oyeye ebesi na omuntimi enka ho asem yen emabunu ene da enwuma so pa yen ka se yama enwuma nyina awie nanso ade ehu hia yeye pa ene se wo hwa ye ba ban mu na anu ye yama enwuma 2,555,010.
Ekosiisen
breakdown
on
of public
Asempa
sector
FM.
777,706. Osha former sector now, there were 267,939. Now Osha enyuma aban enam ne hyehyɛ yeso de aba eye 1,800,365. Abusia plenty for food and jobs nkwa amanyuma 762,300. Nation builder score 100,000. National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Plan 92,000. Okay, can we nyina sie ni a na Nanado Danko Akufuado amemoi amanyuma 2,055,010. Na obi se ono no eba enfie 9 obekreti 1 million jobs. A ono na bakosem krampo no na airtime ye beba so. Abusia se ofa ye school komu a enenya mencha de free SHS ye de aba. And someone NDC for a come for free SHS
Ekosiisen on Asempa
and then nyame adaroma ye de aba. Se o hwe ensem ni bia omo kan ye me wo omo krata ni bi wo ha sei eya na ano ehye free SHS sakawa Nanado Danko Akufuado ebegu Ghana school yakra no nya de ye free SHS di 2 billion na edition no enya de papa ni nyina nyame ncha de ene ye de aba ene BC omo kocho BC ye tua omo fees no bibia de ma omo free 339,000 ebiem wo hwe omo tro wasi nso ye tua omo bibia nso e de ma omo free of charge And next I share niema ye di akọ eye school pom na wo hwe ya desuamu nso omo a omo wo eye SHS na wo hwe textbooks, notebooks, exercise books, supplementary readers ya di am free of charge from 2017. Ebiem ebra ye di free SHS ba e na ehun se eyampa enipa dodo na na botwi a omo kọ eye school enunti ye di double track by double track ni hyehyeye ni se unua eko school na ye wo ofa me prempe college amekoye na o de ye example ni abehu ni se prempe college
Ekosiisen on Asempa
FM ebetimi afa nipa be 2005 adentia sanse ebi ekono ebrebi na ebi nso kọ ne brebi ye koso a ye say school dan ntia no kọ prempe college ye wo project nko 6 and wo ho dormitory blocks, classroom blocks, science labs ekoso ewo honom na ne nyina no adwempo ne se ye behwe ne yeyi double track afri ho sanse ye share free SHS no na nado danko akufa de so mo bia ba entra fie enu nti no ye nyina ye nko ene de thinking outside the box policy we say ebae ene NDC for ba omo si omo betwa double track mu na obuso omo se ebrebe no betwa mu a enu so omo ntimi kan kire ho no obuso se omo alternative ni se okay utwa mu no enipa na doso enti me prempe college wo se wutwa mu na se 1000 per school ni betumi afa enti 1005 na aka no so beko he a omo so omo ntimi nka eno de omo ntimi kire we ekire se eye endada sem kese pa ene 1002 infrastructure development schools dan a yesie ewo krom ha nyina ekeka 1002 SHS enso eye 557 eno so yesi so wo hwe eye training centers for excellence for eye court veta eno so 10 ena ekoso na no teacher training allowance na NDC for say enya ade a omo de bebada omo betwam former president Mahama obelusu abano kra onlusu ene ye ba ye sade aba am ene emagunu eni age teacher training allowance nursing training allowance nya mencha de ni nyina no ekoso ene se ukọ all the 10 regions eye ultra modern abefo kwan so pa na yesi agoframa ene ehun akade emabunu betimi akọ na omo nso eye akansie hu dwumoma akokodi ho eye youth center of excellence in all the 10 regions nyano ene yetimi asi abusua na nado danko akufuado ade ba ko a emede ye new manifesto ya ye sade ebemu yaka se ye the 2 billion guarantee facility ebeba na eno no ya ade a ankrankra dwumadie ebetimi akwakwagimo busia na ye bie ya tre omunyumam na ye tre omunyumam no so no na omo sa afa nyuma mo eno ya ade a ye de ba ebiem ye de one district one factory abai we ya ade a efuma ya ye de beba ebiem ye sa de 100 million fund abusuan se ukọ eye ye nsore
Ekosiisen on Asempa
FM yesom se ye mosque no ni ade entete ya omotade ma mabunu eni adwuma omode ma mabunu no eya na esuye na nado danko akufado se oba partner with the faith-based organization eye nsore name Muslimi mosque sorry no ye be partner with omo with 100 million fund na ye dentete ye eni nwuma enso abre mabunu abusuan ya saka biem ewo ye manifesto yimu say one district one factory ye betrem planting for food and jobs ede eye ahoha ene yedie ede abano so ye betrem ebiem free SHS nso no ye bekoso ahyemu kena ya na ye de baaye na ye besan asomu biem asa ye ho adwuma ebio emabunu ade ba akọ esa to makoma so ye na ewo ye manifesto hu ene se emabunu awie school abusuan nanka omo pe baabi aye adwuma no manya adwuma na wie afi na aka baabi omudi omo tibeto omo de beto ho awie no afi advance aye de bebo omo trim 9,000 10,000 12,000 enei na nado danko akufuado say or the 100 million Ghana cedis foto to honom obi bia wo ya brantie wanya adwuma enei eni kwan se no ya Okada na ye ma obosia kakra bi na ye tue sika no e de amadan wura na afi yatete o kakra busumi ebio a school for nso ene yate denne sanse yama National Identification Authority ye ndwuma na ne dwuma nso so ani na no beka ya eye edintro ye tro ye ɛyɛ ɔhamu nchichemu aduosia ɛna use NHI card ɛnɛ yasama yɛ kan sɛ ɛnɛ student loan yɛn hia sɛ obi abɛgyina mama first nipa bɛgyina mama ntino nipa dodo na ntimi access student loan ne yɛ kan sɛ ɛnɛ unhia so guarantee bia obi abɛgyina mama ɛnɛ ugutaw NIA card a obetimi enya bosian so student loan trust fund na ode edi wudwuma sɛne yɛsɛ abusua ebiem yɛntensi NDC forswe na endada ne atro manifesto a na no omkoka ho asɛm abusua yɛhwɛ bibi former president Mahama se ono ba obekreti nyuma enyuma be na obekreti a ɔse every year be 250,000 jobs abusua se kwatre kwase obema ntoma tienidin former president Mahama yenim no na no obeye omampani ɔse ye resources ye sikasɛm ye di amana kadompe ya sano ekyirei ena ɔka sɛ ɛyɛ amamuomu nyansa ɛne amamuomu so ntotoyɛ nso ene yabɔ Ghana for ye ni policy credibility ɛno nti yɛkɔ IMF ɛne de ensa to nnwuma so ye de ensa to nnwuma so ya yɛntimi mfa nipa ebiem ɔpani koya ne sama dumso ɛsɛ nwunu yɛn ɛma Ghana atɔwrenchema to yɛn enyuma over 885 eguye sika ehwere Ghana na ekɔ over 1 billion omampani dada kroye jida onukwa na so jida ma jida ye lucy over 1 billion Ghana cedis sada onukwa na esa ho enti ne opani ya ebetimi aka se bible mu kwa wadane no ho opataku na wafa no ho odwan yura ede akata no ho ene so oboboboa no na so obekreti nnwuma a obegina dia na asa unjini ndi da na no ensem bi okan ya me wo ehho adanse wa ha o say ene o say I will create 1 million jobs by the end of my term na so say ukọ February 18th November 2016 o say I am not a magician to create jobs. I am not a magician to create jobs. Etiene so pani eba no be ka kire wo say meme di nnwuma beba na osa frɛ bibi the big push also the 10 billion bi be dey esa be shem na no mon ka se haya na eno no osa go fa arrange buy say Hope City 10 billion bi 10 billion coin ya Marcus Brown free America buy no beje $1 million e no koye enei Hope City no ebeye hopeless SDS munya yen ka ho asem o enti ene so pani sa dane ne ho na osa be ka kire wo say ono yen trouble man no be create 1 million jobs ha na wasini who opani kro yai o say ene o de free primary health care eba san say ene omo kuta NHIS card 10 million pe eti omo maka nya nipa 20 million no omo nyina no ye be mo maka hospital free ye di NHIS eba omo si omo mpe omo work out of parliament omo sa promises omo ma 110 premium ayade aba 110 premium no ekọ wi akire eka eno mo jama NHIS 1.3 billion Ghana cedis. Etienne is omu koya sa dani omu ho. No mo sa be ka kire wo say yen ye de free primary health care beba mesi abusua sini hu. Masa kire ma kire say na omu si a school for sanse pandemic no abenti no ye betua a school for tertiary institution school pomu obi o bia no ni sika no ye betchemu mienu ne yetua fa na ye de amano abusuan wensu ye ndada
Ekosiisen on Asempa FM.
Nana do danko akufuado Emma critical need. Nana Emma free electricity. Nana Emma free water. Nana eche nuane ama mobrowa. Asemba na former president Mahama anka. Or say you cannot develop a nation with freebies. But ene wasa dane no ho say ono betua school fees. E de ama suapon mu. Endada ewom krampo ni say uye hwehwemu ni ye a na se empokra no ode suapon no krebu okra ho fanka ho be ensia bi ofa legon ekofa Kenya University for UCC ofa UDS ofa Allied Health University si okeka ni nyina si ani a enipa ewomu nyina no na ode multiply omo average fees na ebusua unya 860,000 uchemu mienu a eye 415,432 abusua enipa na ontimi ntua suafo adesuafo ontimi ntua mo electricity bill ema omo in fact on ne betwa mu Mekai ebra na ye okay and yes na me yellow. A ho and of vice chancellors nearby say nay aban entimi ntua
Ekosiisen on Asempa
bill no
FM.
water boy entimi ntua enti yema students na no ntua omade. Ene nipa no ntimi ntua sa bills no. Obeka cho say ono no beyi 400 million e de atua car sini hu. Enipa no no ntimi entua allowances. Ontimi ntua teacher training allowances, nursing training allowances. Enipa ontimi ntua capitation grant. Enipa na feeding grant the northern regions no ontimi ntua. Enipa on SCS or the progressively free SHS by. Now so 37 million. When timi ntua da ye ba ban mu and ye ba betua ye. Said enipa na ka kira wo say or no be betua school fees amount. Now yen sisiye no na ye 400 million Ghana cedis a. Abusua mesisi ni hu obwa. Ebiem abusua asama NDC for esa ka ene se omo no de omo ba free SHS no kwa no sa be hyemu kina na omo hyemu kina no omo sai apagya mu na omo sai de akọ ankrankra school mu na entro wo mu ni se eye ankrankra school a ewo ba bia mobro wa ho eye deprived areas abusua schools ahe ene ye ankrankra dia ewo deprived areas.
Ekosiisen
because
on
how you
Asempa
just
FM.
go and you'll be business entity and a wood cheska. It is schools are here wo honum and no omuntimi country. Nyɛ tɔso mienu wo se wo betwa double track mu ne ebusa wo say da ba na betwam and untimi country wo so gradually no be facing it out. And no so untimi kan ye. Na nipa wo se 2 billion a ye de chef SHS mu no esondodo 2018 year na former president Mahama kan ye. Esondodo sa nipa ko ye wo sa dane wo ho be ka kire say wo be no improved and better. Esa do private asaka ho abusan say if no ko first can free enipa na on jindie abusua mesi so be ka sa asem ne kire wa sini hu na mom e ka kire ho say se kwatre kwa so be ma ontoma eya na watie ni din aye John Dramani Mahama ono na ebo enwuma eti abusua mesramo and someone would buy any and that asem. Okofo book ba na church jobs and people centered. That by now be people centered. A brand new teacher for an SS, a doctor for soon. Say, oh, omo condition of service. Ye momo. Former President Mama Kacha say strikes the demonstrations dear. Yeah, well who be alone you see a crowd no fun. Well who be sa. Ekosiisen was developing syndrome. Dead goat syndrome. Did you enfano? And then nipa way or your people centered. There be that. And nipa tier 3 pension mekai na a workers soon. Say yen share oh when few cry and they buy a baby training na. Abusia near me sran say yehu bi da. Openina or de na da eba no yenim no. And then ye ni a refuse home. Dum so edi yenya. Dum so omo ton ice water nyuma guye fita fo nyuma guye adroba fo nyuma guye welders nyuma guye media fo enam wo ha mbeka ya dum so nti ye ba mo fie mo akire ho moto diesel gu ankore mu ebi kwa ni ntibi tua bika ene so pani we say dan ho beka to say me boa industries me boa madwuma ba no abusa ne say ye ma wo tumi no den and na wo ye abusua mesremo na nado danko akufo ado aye bi ni 4 years nie na ye masa and dada asem we sei emma na ye nsomu da Ghana mabunu ya trasa ne ma no etini ye ni nya nim ne se na nado danko akufo ado ba onye
Ekosiisen on Asempa
na ba ye ni nyuma o ye no eso ani etini ye sre nya ne se for more to do more for you. One good term deserves another. 4 more to do more for you. Abushan for Medamasi.
Now, at this stage, you're going to pick a few questions.
Papa driver, man in the heya, me pesemiti Asempa FM. Taxi driver, man in the heya, me pesemiti Asempa FM. Filling station, man in the heya, me pesemiti